So you are welcome today to another edition of our weekly clarification series. Today we are looking into artificial intelligence and machine learning for peace, conflict, security, and disaster management. Under our important clarification series, with the team always let the data speak, with the vision that we are working towards making AI and machine learning accessible, ethical, and life-changing in a positive way. These are things we work with. Our policy, especially ethical utilization of AI, is highly recommended and practiced. So before we move in, when we look at the AI and machine learning for peace, conflict, security, and disaster management, like I mentioned earlier, for people who are not in this area, they say, what concerns us about this? We say, don't worry. There's something that is unique about this idea of AI and machine learning for solving problems. You see, we look at it here. Applications are diverse, but methods are generic. See, that is the hidden truth there. So when you learn how to utilize AI and machine learning for peace, security, and resilience, it will be easier for you to just pick it and use it to solve another problem that interests you. So don't think, oh, today they are discussing peace, security, and there's nothing that concerns me. It's not my area. Don't worry. Every area is your area when it comes to artificial intelligence. So because of the fact that it's a unique technology that works in such a way that when you touch an application area, whatever you do in that area, you can easily reproduce it in your own area of interest. That is why we said applications are diverse, so many, but methods are generic. We're going to have the same procedure, training and testing, using which type of partition with the same principle. Just change your data set, change the area you are looking at, you start applying to your own area. So if you listen to AI and machine learning for peace, security, and resilience, you are not losing anything. You're actually gathering more information. And also, peace, security, conflicts, and disaster management affect everybody when it happens. So we are not leaving it for those people in that area. We are saying, let AI come in and see how can we facilitate, how can we ease the fear of people working in this area so that we can take proactive measures where applicable. So this is what we are all set to look at together, and I invite us to follow us as we explore this interesting area. So I wish you all enjoy and also be well carried along as we move. So introductorily, when we say AI and machine learning for peace, security, and resilience, we are talking of harnessing intelligence for a safer, more stable, more stable world. From predicting, how do we achieve this? From predicting conflicts before they ignite. This is one of the capabilities of artificial intelligence and machine learning. You can actually predict that there's going to be a crisis in one country before it happens. Just imagine that. We can come in to prevent it. You see, prevention, as they say, is better than cure. Once a disaster starts, it's usually difficult to stop. Like the Ukrainian war, how many years now? Could we have prevented it? So we want to see how can we harness AI in predicting conflict before they ignite. From this kind of idea to even saving lives after disaster strikes. Okay, if we missed the preemptive diagnosis, preemptive prediction, preemptive identification of crisis before they ignite, if we miss that, then after it has started, how can we save more lives as much as possible after the disaster strikes? These are some of the issues we want to explore together. We also want us to know that artificial intelligence and machine learning, they are not just technologies, they are new tools for human survival, cooperation, and peace building. If we are able to identify some of the possible ways we can actually use it to let these very important topics take benefit of. That is peace, conflict, security, and disaster management. And we should always remember these aphorisms here. Always let it be at the back of your mind that applications are diverse, but methods are generic. So whatever you learn here today, you can then see how can I incorporate it into my own area of interest, as the case may be. So the agenda, we're going to be looking into the promise of peace, AI for conflict prevention and peace building, the theater of war, the AI roles in modern conflict and its ethical dilemmas, the security dilemma, balancing safety with liberty. You see, if you want to be very safe, we need to do some preemptive identification, which might also break the privacy of some people. How do we balance it? We want to be safe. Because a government that wants security for its country has to take some preemptive analysis of people's data. Who is planning evil? We can track him quickly, we can identify him and take him out before he's able to unleash the crime. However, during the period of that surveillance, are you not breaking his freedom of whatever? His privacy, you are invading it. So how do we balance it? That's the security dilemma. For the resilient society we're going to look into, that is a society, AI in disaster prediction and response. So a society whereby, resilient society is a society whereby they try as much as possible to prevent evil, disaster. But when it happens, they're also very much active and faster in reducing the impact of such challenges. Cross-cutting challenges, which is the critical issues we are going to be looking at, how can we address it? We're going to have selected related predictive solutions. We now point out some of the predictive solutions that we can look into. Whoever is interested in those areas can then target those predictive efforts and see how you can come up with it with the availability of data. Then conclusion, which is shaping the future responsibly, as we always say. Responsible, we promote ethical and responsible utilization of AI. And always remember that applications are diverse, but methods are generic. That is a principle that should always guide us henceforth. The promise of peace. The promise of peace. You see here, always you see people gather, United Nations, different bodies all over the world, countries everybody wants peace. Peace is always good. A peaceful environment is a place that can foster intelligent discussion, good living standards, and so many things are associated with peace. So when we promise peace, then we must be able to shift from reactive to preventive. That's the way to achieve, to ensure peace. You don't just get peace just by saying, I promise peace. You have to do something that is unique, that is different from what we used to do before. You can't do the same thing the same way and you expect different solution, different outcome. You have to do it in a different way. And that's why with the coming of artificial intelligence and machine learning, we should be shifting from reactive to preventive. Don't wait for peace to break down of law and order. Do preventive measures. For example, the early warning systems, whereby you can analyze news, social media, and satellite data to predict outbreak of violence. Machine learning modeling has made this possible. Because something social media mining or social network mining. You see, in fact, these days, government rely more on it. But when you are chatting with your friends on social media, you are likely going to be more factual, more truthful, because you are free. You think the chat between you and your friend. So if those kind of chatting can be analyzed, they can actually be able to determine the actual mindset of the citizen, of the populace, in a particular geographical location. Looking at the news that is going on, looking at the different chats going on different social media platforms, and also the use of satellite data You can be able to see, oh, why are people gathering in this area? For the past 2 days, there have been some unusual movement of people. The security agent will be able to come in quickly. That is an early warning system to ensure peace. You have a kind of pre-knowledge of what may happen, because last few years when there was a problem, there was a breakdown of law and order, some characteristics will have been happening. But no human being had that capacity to monitor it and then predict it. But with the coming of AI, it is now possible. Massive data can then be looked into from the past, and then once characteristics similar to what was happening before the last disaster took place, they quickly detect, oh, so neighborhood, there might be breakdown of violence in the next 48 hours. Then the security agent will be deployed there to prevent it from happening. That's the essence of preemptive, predictive solution using AI and machine learning. It's not that we are hoping for bad things to happen, but you try to make use of data. It is scientific. When that happened some years back, there are some characteristics that build up to those times, to the particular incident. Can we preemptively identify those and then give the needed one? Preemptive. See, you take a preemptive analytics to what of try to counter disinformation. See, disinformation is one of the very challenging things that actually pose a lot of threat to the peace of the world. Recently, people started spreading some news, very fake news. You see, we have to be very, very careful what we read online. You can't just imagine somebody just come up, made up a statement as if the Ministry of Education was making a particular statement and it went viral, only for the minister to say it wasn't all. You see, can we detect hate speech before it actually spread? In the past, if you notice, for example, in the social media like WhatsApp, in the past, you can just send a message to as many people as possible. But because of the effect of fake news, now they restrict. At a point, you can't forward messages that have been forwarded before. You can't forward it to more than 5 or 4 people at a time, just to reduce the effect of the fake news. We have seen a lot of fake news that actually incited violence. So can't we counter this? We can detect deepfakes. Deepfake, which is one of the, with the coming of deep learning, a lot of systems that were not possible before are now made possible. Deepfake is where you see somebody talking on video, and it's not the one talking. You think it's the one talking. Tell me how are you going to be able to take decision? In the past, once you get video or picture evidence of a scene, of a crime scene, you can be sure that that crime is going to be, the case is going to be easily judged, but not gone are the days. Seeing a video, seeing a picture, initially it used to be when you see a picture of someone, it may be Photoshop. But now you are talking or someone is talking and you are not still sure he is the one talking. That's the one we call deep fake. Now we have systems now that are also anti-deep fake. They try to quickly detect if the video is deep fake, they quickly put it in that AI system, it will detect that, oh, this is a deep fake. This is not normal. This is not a normal speech. Can we preemptively detect hate speech before it goes viral? We can then warn people about it. What of coordinated bot attack that incite conflicts? Both campaigns. You see, a very, very insightful message will be sent across the entire social media, not by human being, but by bot. These are artificial intelligence agents that have been, you see today now somebody is chatting with you on social media, don't think it's human being. It could be a machine that is imitating someone. And that's why you see security, cyber security is being beefed up every day. You go to a website, after 1 hour, you want to go to the same website, they want you to test if you are a human being. And they come up with very tough system you use to ascertain that I'm a human being. Looking at two vehicles, what is the distance between them? To be able to show that, yes, you are really, because now the world is getting really confused. You'll be chatting with a bot for several days, you never knew you are not chatting with a human being. Of course, there's the positive aspect of it and there's the negative aspect of it. But when you use bot campaigns that incite conflict, this is unacceptable. So we need to be able to have a means of countering such, but quickly detecting that this is not a genuine campaign. This is from an agent of disaster. Supporting peace process. Natural language processing can analyze past agreements to help mediators craft better deals. So NLP, especially with the coming of Gen AI, generative AI, ChatGPT, the Copilot, the DeepSeek, and also for that, can help you analyze massive documents within few microseconds and be able to detect in the past, this was the agreement we reached that does not last. Why are you going to? And then can cite several cases for you. In so country, they use this agreement, it doesn't last. This country use this agreement, it doesn't last. Can we hybridize those agreements together and come up with more superior, better deals that can ensure peace? These are some of the application areas we can use to ensure the promise of peace is achievable. What of managing scarce resources? Model resource competition, like water, land, in order to address the root cause of conflict. In most cases, conflicts are caused by a country want to fight over land. This land belongs to us. This water belongs to us. This one is not going to float. You are trying to build a dam across a river that is supplying us. Before you know what is happening, if you don't take good, quick efforts, quick step, it can snowball into disastrous war. So the key opportunity we are, if we really want to have the promise of peace, is the key opportunity is preventive diplomacy. We need to move to preventive diplomacy. And with the coming of artificial intelligence, having that capacity to use past data to identify where conflict may break out. So why don't we go to preventive diplomacy? Prevent the war rather than allowing the war to happen. And then you start trying to stop it, ceasefire, this or that. Let us prevent the war rather than looking for the way for the ceasefire to come into place. Then the chart of war, the rise of autonomous conflicts. You see, these days, the world is moving in a direction. It's one of the areas that the use of artificial intelligence has to be well regulated. The international community needs to come together to have regulation for it. See, things are getting autonomous. Call it autonomous conflict. You can see in the past, it used to be one-on-one, face-to-face. Then later you have fighter jets being flown by military personnel. They may lose their life if there's anything, but now you have autonomously driven drone. Nobody is inside the plane, driving itself and causing disaster. Some applications like intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, that is rapid analysis of drone or satellite data that actually determine how the direction of war will be. Autonomous weapon systems, AWS, a killer robot that can select and engage targets. So we have the cybersecurity debacle, where AI-powered defense and offense in cyber warfare. So whereby you have the cybersecurity, you bring down the system opponent. Most of these, we're going to talk about it as we move on. We have the logistics and planning, optimizing supply chains and battlefield strategies. War is the last thing any system should, any country in the world should go into. Rather, we are advocating for preventive system that can prevent this agonizing sense of war that we have all over the world. So how can we prevent it? How can we look into what is going to be involved? And that leads to what we call the ethical battlefield. The ethical battlefield. It poses significant challenges and concerns. See, we have the accountability gap. Who is responsible when an autonomous system fails? When you deploy an autonomous system that's supposed to target a particular place, but it failed, it targeted another place. Because every system has its own error rate where mistake will take place. See, because the autonomous system have gone so fast, precision-guided missiles that will use predictive solution to first of all predict your location before the system is launched. You can move around, but they know the next move you are going to make. It has gotten to that level that you can precisely determine what is going to be the nature of movement of a particular team of military from one place to another. However, if something goes wrong, who is going to be responsible? These are issues that got first concern. Dehumanization of force is also an issue in this area of ethical battlefield. People lower the threshold for going to war. War should not be gone to. You see, when there are some wars are not advocated for. However, usually the threshold should be very high. Negotiation, preemptive system, avoid war, go into deals, make compromise in both sides. But this day, with the lowering of threshold for going to war, that before you can go to war, just little thing happen because people have autonomous system they can deploy. Nobody is going to die, don't worry. But finally, things get out of hand. Proliferation of arms, proliferation arm race could spread to non-state actors. People thought they are not involved. That is why peace should be a joint responsibility of the entire system. If a problem is happening somewhere, you think it doesn't concern you, it may inadvertently come actually back to your own system. When there's war in neighboring countries, you see the people who are neighboring those countries, after that, there will be proliferation of weapons that can sneak into any other country that are neighboring. That is why at all costs, we have to prevent war. We also have the algorithmic bias, that is the risk of misidentifying targets and violating international law. So depending on the way your AI algorithm has been trained, bias is one of the issues, big issue. The data set that is used to train it, how does it recognize an enemy? How does it recognize a friend at the battlefield? So, in essence, the urgent need for international regulation is very, very important. There needs to be international regulation. What should not be used? Because with the coming of quantum computing, that can make what is actually impossible, processing that is impossible before now becoming possible. A lot of big game-changing capacities that this system can deploy. And that is why the preventive system is what is being advocated. War should be prevented at all costs by deploying preemptive negotiation, having an idea of conflict that may happen before it happens so that you can be able to prevent it from snowballing into full-scale war. Then the security dilemma. The security dilemma. When we talk about the security dilemma, we mean balancing safety and liberty. See, to be able to ensure safety of citizens, you need to do some preemptive investigation, preemptively identify the risk factor, persons of interest. But in doing that, you are breaching his own liberty. See, privacy is very important. So, for example, predictive policing. You want to focus crime hotspots. You see, you want to focus Where is the crime? A spot in the neighborhood that is likely going to experience crime overnight. It's possible. It is not possible with past data, looking at what used to happen in those areas, in those neighborhoods. You can predict that neighborhood so there may be crime there. Then you can deploy a lot of police in that area for that day. Every day you keep running that. It's just like accident prevention. You have some hot spots that have been identified that there will be accident. Then you can deploy traffic police, mount roadblock there so that anybody that gets there should slow down. The essence of predictive analytics is you want to have an idea of what may happen and then try to make effort to prevent it from happening. It's not a prediction of doom. No. When you say a crime is going to happen in a place, you have an idea, a foreknowledge. Then you try to do things that can prevent that your prediction from coming to reality. That's an example of this. You forecast that there will be a crime in a particular area. So when you do that, then the policing authority will be able to deploy manpower and other systems to prevent it from happening. So, of course, it's risk perpetuating bias. When you train your model, you have to make sure that you train the model. Because when you're training your model, you are going to have neighborhood, maybe street by street, street A, street B, street. So if you have during training, there's some neighborhood characteristics that you didn't take care of, you may be biased. Or when you are training, a particular neighborhood only supply crime. There will be crime. There will be crime. You never have no crime in that neighborhood. Then you are likely going to be biased towards neighborhood as always predicting it as crime zone, even though there may be no crime there. That's the risk of perpetuating bias. We have to make sure our data set is as balanced as possible. You see, crime, no crime, have it from both neighborhoods. All the neighborhoods should also have this different type of classes. This neighborhood has some, it's not every day they experience crime. Then why do you always protect them? They are always crime. So make sure your data is balanced as much as possible to avoid perpetuating bias. Another possibility here, facial recognition and mass surveillance, where you identify suspects. See, as people are moving, a lot of countries now that are deploying this, as you are moving, going your daily activity, they are monitoring you because they have database. Anybody who have committed crime, they are looking for him, they can easily catch him there. Yes, that is surveillance, mass surveillance. As you are moving, they are monitoring you. You don't even know there's video every day. They are monitoring. The moment they are catching your face that is in line with somebody they're looking for, immediately the suspect will be, the location will be detected and security agent will be able to step in immediately. As good as this may be, it may threaten privacy. This is what we call the security dilemma. Imagine everywhere you go, somebody is monitoring you. You feel threatened. You feel you don't have freedom of privacy. What of counterterrorism, where you disrupt network through financial and communication analysis before those intimidating people, and also for other things that actually can cause inequity in the society, we can actually preemptively identify them and be able to take decisions before they actually wreak the havoc. What of infrastructure protection, like securing power grids and water systems from attacks. Imagine power grids is made attack here and there. You have a preemptive solution that can prevent, before it happens, so there will be an attack in a particular portion of the road. So you deploy security agent there to actually prevent it from happening. You see, that is how you can be able to protect the infrastructure of a country. You don't allow criminals to break it down or to vandalize. You preemptively identify where they're likely going to be. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. It is already been done world all over, whereby you can identify where an attack is going to be, and you can be able to take preventive steps. People are going to vandalize a particular power line. You go there, security agent will be there to prevent it. This is where the world is going. If you can have a system that can identify if somebody will be absent tomorrow. You see, you can detect your staff that will be absent tomorrow. Are they calling overnight to prevent it from being absent, as the case may be? So these are our preemptive systems that can support our security architecture. The central debate is security versus privacy. How do we deal with that? If you want more security, some people, privacy have to be lower. How do we balance it? That's how it will be a balanced negotiation. See, because you don't claim privacy and then you disrupt the security of a system, of a nation. That's why the moment the security agents see you as a potential threat, they will lower your privacy. Your level of privacy will go down. But for those that they know that, okay, this one, they are law-abiding citizens, their privacy has to be top-notch. There should be no compromise in this sense. So it has to be a balanced system to be able to ensure security versus privacy, because the two does not go together. You have very high privacy and high security? No. It means even people who are planning evil, they have the privacy to plan it? No. They will have to break those privacy. You see, preemptive diagnosis, preemptive detective system that can actually prevent criminals from carrying out their plan. You can disrupt their network in a preemptive way through the intelligent use of machine learning and artificial intelligence. So the next, we are going to have the resilient society. Because of our time, I think we are going to stop at this point for the day. So, and God willing, next time we're going to continue still on peace, security, disaster management using artificial intelligence and machine learning. So this is where we're going to stop for the day. So thank you very much for listening. And then we're going to take a couple of questions if available. Thank you very much.